Oh, I have a headache.
Maybe it's a tumor.
It's not a tumor. It's not a tumor. It's the Sean Geek Podcast, which I download off of SeanMcGinnity.ca.
The Sean Geek Podcast, which you download off of SeanMcGinnity.ca.
That's right. And you should too. Don't cop out.
There you go. Seanorama is recording the call.
Yeah, there we go.
Sweet.
So, yeah, we just did something really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which police interview?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like super long overdue, but we finally got there.
Yeah, we were supposed to do it how many years ago now?
2017 it would have been, I think. Or 2017, or was it 2018? Oh, we were going to do it in 2018 because we were about to release a CD, and then we released it in March.
Right.
February/March that year. So, to prepare for this, because I wasn't sure what kind of questions he was going to ask and what direction he was going to take, so I went to the SoundCloud page where I have a bunch of stuff, and I was just playing a bunch of stuff. It was like pretty cool, like listening to some stuff that you and I did.
Right.
Like, for example, can you hear this? Do you hear any music playing?
No.
No.
Nothing.
So I was going. Maybe this is masturbatory. I don't know, but looking at how many plays we got on our tracks, and the interesting thing is we had the least amount of plays on the Dome stuff, and the most amount of plays on the stuff you and I did.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah.
Wow.
The most amount of plays belongs to the song "Serious" that you and I did.
Oh, okay.
Which was that kind of punkish song, a redo off my my little album I did forever ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I don't know, kind of cool.
Sweet.
So under duress and with a gun to my head, I watched Tiger King. Did not want to watch that. Yes, everything. Even that extra episode at the end they added.
Right.
So I thought, you know what? Let's talk about this damn thing. It's trending, it's popular, and you know what? I love more audience. So if people are going to tune in, because we're going to talk about Tiger King, because everyone's talking about Tiger King, God damn it, we're going to talk about Tiger King. Why not?
Well, what was your impression of it before we even watched it?
Before I watched it, it seemed like another one of those shows like Pawn Traders or those various shows in the South. What was that family that was really popular? Probably the biggest of all those shows. They lived Gators. The heck was that show?
Swamp. The Swamp People, or
yeah,
I can't remember.
Yeah, I can't remember that.
There's Duck Dynasty.
Duck Dynasty. That's the one. That's the one I was thinking
There's
of.
a whole bunch of different ones from the swamp.
I thought it was another show like that, and I'm like, I'm not interested, because I did watch some of the Duck Dynasty shows. I think that's the one I was watching. There's another one that's in the swamp or something too. I watched just because it was on. I didn't put it on. It was on someone's house I was at, and I'm like, oh my god, this is trash garbage. So that was my opinion. It's like, this is just another one of those shows. Not interested in the least.
Okay, so now comparing the two, do you think the gene pool is is kind of similar.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah,
Just it's a different show, same gene pool.
same people. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
I guess Dad would tell us stories about when he was traveling to the South, and he was telling. I don't know if he told you stories about when he was working down south there, but he'd tell
no,
you
I didn't
about like
have any stories.
no. So he,
No.
oh man, Dad and I talk about that kind of stuff all the time, like work stuff. So he'd
Hmm.
tell me about, like he was down in, I guess the Virginias or the Carolinas or maybe it was Georgia.
Hmm.
I can't, somewhere down. I think maybe it was Georgia. Yeah, that would make sense. Georgia, Florida. But he'd get down there, and the reason we were talking about this is one of my former jobs. I spent a lot of time on the phone talking to people in Memphis and Nashville and Chattanooga, a lot,
Right.
like a lot,
Right.
and Mississippi. Like there was just daily, multiple times a day, talking to people down there,
Right.
and the common thing that we both found was how nice people were, laid
Hmm.
back, super polite, and, almost Canadian in nature.
Right.
Um, and but then he told me the horror stories about the people that aren't like that down there, and the people that are not very accepting of other cultures or colors of skin or orientation or things like that. And he told me a few horror stories about some people down there that are just flagrantly, I hate everybody that's not white and straight and Christian.
Right.
So I think I avoid shows like that because I get worried about things like that. And I know it's probably a bad generalization, but
Well, this one is not nowhere near that.
no, which was refreshing because it was the complete
Because of who he is.
opposite.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was the complete opposite, and that was good.
Mhm.
There was an episode of Queer Eye that we watched, and it was down south, and the whole lead up was they're terrified of going down there for gay men going down to a place where the image is that it is not safe to go if you are the three things I said: uh, white, Catholic, and what did I say? And straight. And if you're not
Right.
any of those things, a gay black man going down there is going to get lynched. And I'm not kidding. Like that's the worry.
Right.
So Tiger King was refreshing in that it's like, you know, I, I liked the guy at first because he's bucking every freaking trend. He's
Right.
down in the South. He's gay and very much so. And he's
Mhm.
and he get married to a guy or two or
Two of
three.
them.
But the whole thing was to me
Thruple.
that was like, what, that's good. Like I don't know, you know me, I hate oppression of any kind. I really really I really hate it. So
Yeah.
I just
Just be
I
who you
thought,
are and just comfortable
yeah,
with it. Yeah.
I
Like, who
think
cares what anyone thinks?
I, honestly, I think what made me watch a show other than you bugging me about it was um, that, oh, the guy's gay. Okay. So maybe it's not gonna be stereotypical bushwhacker territory or whatever, you know?
It's the show. I mean, I people were talking about it, and I was like, oh, here we go. Okay, he's got a mullet. He looks like he's
So
from.
yeah, so let's get it. What was your opinion before even watching the show? What did you think it was going to be?
I don't know. Like you said, it was kind of like a Duck Dynasty type thing. Like, well, what is this? Let's get tigers and whatever. It's like, okay, but I mean, spoiler alert. If
Yeah,
if
yeah.
you're listening to this
Spoiler
and
alert.
haven't
We're
seen it,
gonna break every spoiler right away.
I I mean, I couldn't believe, like, as soon as you got into it, it was like, okay, well, you find out he's got the tigers, and then at some point, then you find out he's gay, and then it was not, well, it's not just that he's gay, but now he's married. he's marrying two guys instead of one
at the same time.
at the same time. So and then the next scene, there's something going on, and then he has like a paramedic's jacket on. So like this guy he's got different hats for different things in this show. Just when you think, you go, oh, there's the twist. No sooner do you say that as there's another twist on the way.
Yeah, it's a different,
and then
completely different twist.
Then you go, wow, another twist, and you go, oh, another twist. It's like a big knot. It's like a big pretzel. The show, and that's probably why it's done so well. Because you'll have a show. You'll have a show, and you'll have a major twist, and it'll be like, oh wow, wasn't expecting that. But this show just says, nah, one's not enough. We're just gonna throw a whole shitload in here.
Yep.
I mean, and then his ex-wife. No, the other one that's in competition with him, or seems like competition, but she figures that hers is a sanctuary where his is a show thing where she charges money too. So she's kind of a hypocrite. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. And then where her husband dies, and now they think that she fed her ex-husband to one of the tigers.
Well,
which was another
interesting. Isn't it interesting though when they first, what was her name? Carol, yeah. So when they first show her, she just seems like, wow, you're being really mean. Like the reveal of her is she's kind of bullying him,
right? Because
maybe she's, and there's assumptions made, and you're like, well, maybe she feels like she's better educated, or she's not a redneck, like maybe there's something there to they're showing this is oppression, and he's a gay man, and maybe she's against that, or like you start thinking, wow, she's a mean person, and you really start rooting for Tiger King. But then you get that first swerve. Well, the first swerve is he's like, oh, he's in jail. 2 years later, he's in jail. I was like, what? But then the second episode focuses on her, and it just paints her in a really unflattering light.
Yes.
Like you think you know who the good guys are and who the bad guys are. You know what I mean?
Well, at the beginning, they focus on, Joe Exotic is, they show him and they show the animals, and then it's like, oh, okay, this is pretty decent. It's almost like those Saturday or Sunday morning where they have I can't remember the guy there, but you always get he's got his hat on, and they go out into the desert out into the plains or whatever, and they look for giraffes and all these wild animals and stuff. So I mean, Tiger King, he's kind of think he's kind of like the same thing when you watch it. And then when the twists start, a little bit more comes in. All of a sudden he's talking from jail, and well, why is he from jail? And then they show him, and he hates Carol Baskin with a passion.
Yes.
And it wasn't just hate. This was, and plus he was also, he had his own, what was it, TV station?
Well, it was his own, it was a YouTube channel pretty much.
Yeah,
he had his own website, and he had videos on there.
Yes, I mean, so he had that too, and he hated her to the point where you could see him, and he'd have like a mannequin of Carol there, and cussing her out, and takes his blows her head off.
Stop for a second. So when you first see those videos, going into episode 2, are you on Joe Exotic's side before going into episode 2? Before you find out all this Carol, before you find out about his channel where,
right,
he starts just dissing her, like where are you on the fence? Like, whose side are you on at this point? Like, are you taking sides? Are you?
Well, there's a couple episodes, so it's like I believe after the first one, I was kind of still on Joe Exotic's side.
Yeah.
Before they started releasing more information, but with his show and with him doing that, and then getting accused of actually trying to, and I guess he was asking people, to actually knock her off.
Yeah,
and that's what did him in.
I think it was a slow release of showing those videos, right? Like, it was like, oh, she's a horrible person. She killed her husband. and that's going on, and it seems like his whole goal, and it's good editing. The whole goal is like he wants to expose her, like she's a horrible person. She murdered her husband. She's she's hurting the animals at her place. And you think, wow, like you're still like, he's a good guy, but he's saying a little bit too much about, I wish she'd just die, but then it goes from I wish she just died to him imitating killing her on the air on his show. And but the editing is smart because they could have given everything away right, in that second episode or whatever it was, right?
Right.
But
well, this was filmed over what, 5-10 years?
I guess so, right? Is that
because this wasn't like an hour long? Okay, we're going to interview. This went on for crap. Trying to see what the summary is here, but it doesn't really say. But yeah, he'd been doing this for a number of years, getting all this together. Now, how it came to the actual person who, kind of finalized it and put it on Netflix was obviously a different person.
Yes.
It was Eric. It was directed by Eric Goode. Goode? Goode. Is that good or goody?
I think it's very good. Very good.
Very good. Yeah. But yeah, and then his and then the other guy, the blind guy with the ponytail, and he's married to a couple of girls. So I mean,
yeah, because when you first meet him, you don't think, oh, he's just another animal guy, and you're like, well, he seems to run a pretty good facility. He's not saying anything mean about anybody. He's just, well, Joe's a little, he's not the smartest guy, but I mean, he runs a good place. Like, he doesn't say anything bad, and you think this guy's probably an okay person, but then, I like these slow reveals because you make a judgment call on the character that's introduced, and you don't think anything about them, or you don't think anything bad. But then they reveal a little bit more, and like, oh.
And then they reveal the twist, and it's like, what?
What was that guy's name with the ponytail?
Oh, I can't remember offhand now.
But yeah, he's
I think he was hiring people like ex-cons and stuff in his, like, from where he worked in not the zoo, but whatever you want to call it, like where he keeps the animals and stuff in the sanctuary.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't know. I can't remember now what the reasoning was, because I think he just wanted those people just so they could get some work. Like, he was trying to help these guys out.
Yeah, it looked like an altruistic thing, like,
which was probably
people giving up on them.
Right.
Because I think, like, a lot of his personality, the part that you're like, where you're kind of rooting for him is like, you know what, like, he's been marginalized his whole life, as a young gay man, down south, he's not getting his props, and he's built this thing for himself, and now he wants to help other people that may not, be given a second chance in life because of whatever, someone that just got out of jail, or, someone that's, like, he's got a motley assortment of people there, that he's giving chances to. And you're just like, wow, this guy's a really good guy. Like, he's, he may be gruff and a bit of a redneck, but I mean, he loves those animals and he loves his employees. And then as it goes further, you're like, maybe not so much.
Yeah, it kind of shows you the power of, I'd say, the media, but just where people can take information and give it to you and just kind of spoon feed it to you the way that they want you to see it.
Mm-hmm.
Because as you could see, as the show progressed, they kind of switched gears and went, okay, well, now we're gonna give you the stuff that we didn't give you at the beginning.
Yes.
We're gonna give the whole story, not just half the story.
And you're like, oh, like, everyone's bad in this. Like, I don't know of anyone that was good.
Well, that's how they portray it.
Yeah. So what do you think about that criminal guy? The heck was his name? he went to jail for whatever it was, 20 years or something, and he was the inspiration for Scarface. And what the heck was that guy's name? He was buying tigers from Joe.
Oh crap.
He might have been the nicest guy of the bunch.
Oh, you mean the guy with the bandana who was actually running it now?
No, not that guy. This is one of the middle episodes, I guess. He was a fan of animals, but he was also using snakes and stuff to traffic cocaine and other things. And he went to jail for drug dealing and all that sort of stuff. Did his time in jail for 20 years, and then when he came out, he had his own. He didn't have a zoo. He just had a lot of animals on his property. He had this massive property. What the heck was that guy's name? He was a Cuban guy.
I can't remember.
Anyway, well, I guess that guy wasn't good either because he killed a lot of people. But so did Carol murder her husband?
I think she did. But she seems to not have any type of, I don't know what to call it, conscience. She's just kind of going about doing her business. But I mean, that could be just the atmosphere of when they were recording. She says, okay, well, I just want you to grab your bike and I want you to ride it from here to here. And then they just film it. It's not like someone's doing a live thing going up, hey, and question him on the spot.
Yeah.
So they're trying to, they show this softness of her, doing her daily routine, but you don't really actually know. And it makes you question, like, could she be capable of something like that?
Well, yeah, they didn't really dig into her. It might have been, I mean, maybe that's a season 2 if they do that. Joe Exotic's in jail. He's not going to be available. So now let's focus on the remaining. So I'm sure there's probably going to be a war between Carol and that guy with the bandana.
Mm-hmm.
And that guy's a piece of work. Like, what the heck?
Well, he is about 65, and his wife is 24, maybe.
Maybe that old.
Yeah. Always wears a bandana. I don't know. Always wearing leather.
Yeah, and he's using animals to entice women to have sex with him and his wife. Like, he's just a swinger.
Wow.
Man.
Yeah. That yet the other twist.
So yeah, that was another twist. And then the whole thing was like, he's wanted. He's got crimes against him. And you heard the scene in court where he's like, where you're getting off, but that's it. Like, you screw up one more time because he was violating a bunch of animal control rules where he's bringing all these animals to Vegas and to his hotel room and stuff like that. And
right.
But he got off on that. But they said, if you do one more thing, I'm going to throw the book at you. And then he does it and he gets caught. And all of a sudden he's giving information to the feds in order to get off. And then he gets off scot-free. Like, never mind the stuff he was doing with Joe Exotic, but the stuff he's doing on his own. Like, they said, we're going to nail you. Like, I'm giving you a chance, don't blow it. And he blows it. And then he just decides to blow the whistle on someone else. And then they give him another chance. It's like, how many chances is this guy going to get?
Right.
I don't know. That guy scares me. And then his hitman. Like, that guy's hitman with the tear tattoo.
The tattoo?
Guy, well, his hitman, the guy with the bandana, he had his hitman, a bald guy. Can't remember what that guy's name was. Anyway, I don't know.
Right.
These guys are scary. There isn't a good one in the bunch.
Well, I mean, they all have their different characteristics, that's for sure.
Actually, you know what? I think the only person that I liked was the person that had their arm bitten off or whatever, had to have their arm amputated.
Oh, and then came back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, oh.
That person was, I don't know. It's the only
was there for the animals, not for
Yeah,
for
yeah, was truly there for the animals, was truly there
Right.
and nothing else. And then
Right.
when they screwed up and they had their, when their arm got chewed on, it was
Right.
their fault. It wasn't the animal's fault. And she,
No.
fully admitted that. And
Right.
she's
And
like,
then
I screwed up. Like, it wasn't the animal. The animal's doing what it's going to do, and I wasn't careful. And like, I think that's what, that's, to me, that's the standout of them all. Was there anyone
that's
else you
probably the
can
only
think of?
decent person there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, everybody liked the long-haired guy with the scrubbly face. He was interviewed.
Reddish hair.
Yeah,
Yeah.
long hair.
That one he was one of the keepers, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he did some despicable things, but he regrets everything. And and then I guess that
Right.
reporter guy was pretty cool. He's not bad.
Yeah.
Like, they have the hat.
Right.
So, what did you think of the final episode with Joel McHale interviewing everybody?
Yeah, it was kind of like an after, like after everything's kind of settled down and they've actually watched the show and kind of gave their opinion on it. And there was some mixed, feelings, and but they all pretty much hated Joe Exotic.
Yeah,
That is pretty much the
consensus.
the the, com- the common denominator, I guess you could say.
Yep.
Yeah, so none of that changed. I mean, and Joe Exotic is,
I'm gonna
he's
get
in
out.
jail.
I'm gonna get out.
Yeah, well, he's in jail, and he's, people are telling him what's going on, and that's just kind of fueling him, right? So,
Oh yeah.
but he's not. I don't know if he's making any money off of this documentary or.
Well, I don't think you're allowed to make money while you're in jail. I think that's the idea. Like,
Yeah.
if you write a book while you're in jail and you release it, you're not allowed to make money off of that, because you're I don't know. There's some law as it relates to that.
You shouldn't
But
be profiting off of your crimes.
but I think that final episode, when, like, do you even know who Joel McHale is? Like, the guy interviewing. Do you know that guy?
I've seen him before. I'm sure if I saw him on wherever he was from, I'd probably recognize him, but
He's on
I could place him.
he's on Community, that show Community.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't
Which
watch
is
that. So
that's
probably right.
it's genius. You should really check it out sometime. He's hilarious. I like how at the beginning, he says, "Yeah, Netflix gave me a call and they asked if I was willing to do a interview show with the people from the Tiger King," and I'm like, "Great! What sort of budget do we have? Do you have an iPhone?"
Yeah, man, iPhone. There's your
And
budget.
that's literally all he did. They didn't have a set. He had nothing. He was just. But I thought the questions he asked, he was like, he's a really funny guy. He's a very dry sense of humor.
Mhm.
He's hilarious on that Community show. Again, I highly recommend it. It's a show that launched 5 or 6 different stars and had Chevy Chase on it too. Very good,
Oh,
very super funny show.
it's called
Um,
Community.
yeah, it's about a community college. So it's kind of people, going back to school, and yeah,
That's what it's called.
yeah,
Community college.
it's called Community.
Oh, just community.
Yeah, it's on Netflix. Everything's on there. But yeah, he's a super funny guy, and he's so good in that show. I was really glad they used him for this interview segment. But the couple times he asked questions like, "Don't you got to be careful, because some of these people have criminal connections. They could put a hit on you," you know. Like, he was asking the
Yeah.
bandana guy some
Oh.
questions that were really like. But he took a shine to the longer haired guy.
Right.
He really took a shine to that guy. I guess that guy might be like a standout star. Like, I don't know. It was interesting.
He doesn't see himself as a movie star. He's just there for the for the
Yeah.
lion or for
Yeah.
the cat. So it's
Yeah.
like, I don't care. It's like whatever. But
Yeah.
he just seems to be the down to earth, just no bullshit guy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. Definitely. So yeah. So that was that. I promised we'd talk about it, and we did.
Yeah.
So there's also something else you watched. We're not going to talk about it now, but we'll maybe do the next episode on that.
Okay.
And that was the My Scientology movie. I want to talk
Yep.
at length about that one as
Yep.
well. And we'll find something else. I think we should do every week or two. Let's pick something both to watch. Do you got any recommendations? What I should
Offhand,
hit up
no.
next?
Offhand, no. But I'll see what's on there. See if there's anything interesting. And if you see something, let me know.
Yeah,
I'll definitely
we'll
take a
try
look.
not we'll try not to do something that's like 10 seasons of something, but
Oh yeah, no.
yeah. Community is
Something.
too long for us to talk about. It's going to take you like 2 or 3 months to watch that, probably. It's only five.
Oh,
It's only 5 seasons, but
right.
it is rather brilliant. It's got Brie Larson, Allison Brie's in it. From she's also in Glow. She was also in Mad Men.
Okay.
Like she started out on this show on Community,
Mhm.
and then right after that she got Mad Men, like a very big role on that show. You might have heard
Okay.
of Mad Men. It's like
I've
only one of the
heard
biggest shows
I've
of all
heard of
time.
it. Yeah,
And
I've heard of it.
right after that she did Glow, which was a huge hit.
Right.
And it's like, wow, she's like, and now Marvel's knocking on her door and wanting to do something with her. It's like, holy
she's
crap.
moving up.
Yeah, she's freaking hilarious. Like she's great. She's good in everything she's been in. So yeah, let's find something maybe documentary-ish, or I just watched that. You know what? I just watched that ZZ Top documentary on Netflix.
Oh yeah, I watched that one.
Did you?
Yeah.
Cool. We can talk about that.
Sure.
Danny told us to watch it, and I guess we both did.
Yeah. It was really good. Yeah.
Yeah, it was really. So yeah, we can chat about that. So we got a few episode topics we can hit down the road. All right. Well, I'm gonna hit stop recording, and I'll let you go to bed. I'm gonna go see my wife. I'm gonna go eat some chips.
Alrighty.
Alrighty.
So we'll talk to you later.
We'll talk to you later. Bye.
All right. Okay. Bye.